Hello, everyone. I'm very excited today. Our guest today for our first Lovey Letters Hangout, which I'm very excited about, is Romain Altin Aldea. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Who's the EP and principal of Grouek. If you don't know, Grouek is an innovation and creative studio in Paris. Grouek is also the winner of the Gold Lovey this year in the HTML5 category for Sortie en Mer, a really incredible project. My name is David Michelle Davies. I'm the executive director of the Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences, and I'm fortunate to have some time here today to chat with Romain about the project. Romain, welcome to our first Lovey Letters Hangout. Tell
Well,
us a little bit about Sortie en Mer. What was the client and your inspiration for the project?
well, hello everyone, and thank you to the Webbies and the Lovie for having me here. First thing off, I must say that Grouek was, and is the digital production for this project. The project was uh, um, designed and imagined in the first place by the agency, which is CLM BBDO, French local store of BBDO network, and was produced by Grouek jointly with Wenda Digital, our partner for video and film production, but we really worked extremely closely on this one. So the idea of the project in the first place was CLM BBDO had this idea of basically what you've seen online for those who've been and experienced the website, the video experience, which was basically an online experience of yourself droning. And how terrifying that could be. Why? Not just for the sake of terrifying people and making people, scared, but really to promote and make sure that everyone, when going at sea, even if not far away from the shore, even if the conditions are perfect, but always wear a life jacket. So that was really the idea. They imagined this idea because CLM BBDO was working or had worked in the past with the SNSM, which stands for Société Nationale de Sécurité en Mer, translate into the National Society for Safety and at Sea and secure rescue at sea. So basically, those guys who go out sea in the worst conditions to rescue people when in trouble. So they imagined that this idea. They contacted Wanda and ourselves, Grouek, to see if we would be interested to step on board. This was a non-financed campaign, but the campaign was such a promising idea in terms of creativity, in terms of impact, and also it was serving a decent and a good cause that we jumped in. So we worked a little bit on the conception on this with them. They went to the SNSM to suggest the idea and basically bring them a free campaign. And the SNSM said, well, guys, we love the idea. We think it really serves the message. It will probably and most surely be very efficient, but unfortunately, in your ID, users have to die to get the message. And our job is to save people. We cannot make people die in our communication, so we're sorry, but we're going to have to pass on this one. So, of course, when we heard that, we were very disappointed, and I was the first one to believe that it was dead, basically. Things like this happen all the time in our wonderful...
Of course. And so just to interrupt you for a second so people understand, if they haven't had a chance to experience the site yet, essentially you go and you visit the site and you have this very real life, real world, video experience of being on a boat out at sea, and there's two people talking to each other, and at some point one of them falls into the water, and then as the user you have the ability to help them swim by using your either scrolling or using the arrows, etc., on your device. And at some point, I think all the time, but we'll talk about that in a second, people drown. The experience is drowning. And so you're saying essentially that at the beginning, the concept of like showing people drowning was not something that they were able to stomach, I guess. They were not on board with that to start.
Exactly. I mean, the whole idea, as you just explained, is really the whole experience is produced, was filmed in first-person point of view, and the idea, really, the concept that we never wanted to compromise on is to make user feel as much as possible, although feeling safe behind their computer in the dry, how it feels to actually drone when you're, basically lost at sea with nothing to and no one to rescue you. So yes, it is a how shall I put it? It is quite a demanding. It is quite a strong experience that you have or you will experience for those who haven't been there yet. If you go on sortieenmer.com, I strongly suggest you to go and check it out. But this is exactly as you said. Yes, at first the first part is an introduction. There's nothing to do. It's just a full screen video. Two guys on a boat. One asks the other one if he can hold on the bar while he goes to do things. We don't know what exactly with the sails on top of the boat, and then accidentally falls off in the water. And from that moment, whenever you are in the water, again, first-person point of view, it's not the ability that you have to scroll, it's the necessity. You really do have to scroll to maintain yourself on the surface. You have an indicator on the side that shows you how tired and cold you're getting. And if you don't scroll very energetically and constantly, you will soon realize and see what happens. Basically, you drone. So yeah.
So how did you turn? So let's. I think we'll talk about a little bit in a second the production, because there's so many endings, and that's such an interesting thing to sort of understand how you did. But how did you get the client to sort of turn around on the idea of letting people drown?
Well, we did not manage that. The agency, again, CLMB Video, did.
Yeah.
Basically, what they did, and this is when I must say, I really believe they would never make it happen. They said, well, look, the SNSM turned it down, but we're not gonna let it go, and we are going to offer this to some life jacket manufacturers. And I said, life jacket manufacturers, who are they? I mean, no one can name them. But they actually managed to find one that is slightly, I mean, that is famous in its field, since they design all sorts of gears for boating and yachting. Gicoten. They went to them and they offered the campaign, and they said, look, we have this idea, we have all the production set, we just want to go, we need a brand, of course, to associate to the campaign. Do you want it? They said yes, and I think it was a wise decision for them.
That makes sense. All right, so now that explains the difference between the Gicoten. Is it Gicoten on dit? Is that how we say it?
Gicoten. I mean, Guy
Cotton.
Guy Cotton.
That was the client. That explains the difference between your campaign and their website.
Obviously, it's a completely standalone, and
right.
Yeah, but exactly.
No, I understand. Interesting. Cool. So talk to us a little bit. I mean, I've played with the site a bunch of times. I always drown. Yep. Is there ever a time? Is there ever an adventure where I don't drown? No.
There's no way you can make it.
There's no way.
No, what you can make is try and last as much as you can, but eventually you will die and you will drown. It's terrible, but that's the message. So
right. So how many different ways did you have to shoot about? I mean, how many different ways are there to die?
There are actually two different ways to die, only two different ways, but they are, well, that was one of the tricky parts in the production process. Of course, getting back to the original objective in terms of creative objective is really to convey the feeling of a realistic process of droning. So it has to be a continuum. It has to be a continuum from the first image to the last image. There's no way you can see any transition, any cut, no nothing. The problem is that you can die at many different moments depending on how well you scroll. So how did we do that? At first we thought, okay, we're gonna manage transition just using the waves that come and overwhelm you and come over the camera, and so at this point we can go to black, dark, and then we can switch to the death sequence if you haven't been scrolling well enough in the previous sequence. Now it didn't work. To make it short, what we had to do is we had the total experience, the total length, if you scroll as much as you can and as much as possible, is 8 minutes and 30 seconds. You cannot last longer than that. So in this time frame of 8 minutes and 30 seconds, they are close to 40 exit points, 40 moments, different moments where the system can decide that that's it. You're too tired, you haven't scrolled enough, you're going to die. And I'm going to load the death sequence. So we have 40 different death sequences that are basically the same. There are two different ones. There's a short one and a long one. But each of them have a specific entry point that really matches the exit point where the system decided you were to die.
Interesting.
And in order for the user not to see any transition, any black screen, what we do is that we actually play the two videos: the experience, the swimming / scrolling video, and the death is on top of that. But it is playing. You won't see it. And basically, what we do is when you die, we move the reading head to the death video. We don't call it to put it and to switch. So it's basically just going up and down. But
basically the call, if you were to call it, just the time in between there would create
exactly.
So you just literally have them both playing at the same time.
Yeah. So this is how we've done it. But most of what I'm saying,
it's a good idea.
We figured out after shooting, and we figured out indeed. So yeah.
So was that a problem? Because I mean, if you shot it at sea, you shot it. You're clearly on some boat in the middle of the ocean somewhere, or something that looked like the middle of the ocean. I would assume you guys were in the water shooting.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest place to go back and get pickups, I would imagine.
No, that's for sure.
So did you end up having everything you needed once you figured out that you needed to run the two videos at the same time, or how did you manage that?
Well, that's another thing. The whole project, from day one when the agency talked to it about us, until the day we went online, the whole process lasted 10 months.
Wow.
During these 10 months, the first 6 months approximately have been talking, designing, talking to the SNSM, going back with them, turning after they turn it down, and then finding another client, etc. Bottom line, when we were supposed to shoot in the summer, we ended shooting in January.
Oh my gosh!
Off the coast of Marseille, with the shortest daylight in the year. So
not as warm as it would have been in June, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it would have been so much better. We would have had much more time. Basically, we had to be in the water for setup at around 7 in the morning, and at 5:30 or 6, it's over. It's dark.
Yeah.
And setup time in the water are can be quite long, very long. You'll have to get the camera off its box every now and then to make sure there's no steam on the glass, that there's no you have very limited control. We had just a tiny screen on the technical boat that was a small inflatable boat. We had a crew of 4 boats altogether. But the one with the director, Ben Hartman-Strebel, I forgot to mention him, English director, extremely talented, very cool. We were with him on I was with him on a small inflatable boat with really a tiny monitoring screen, not being able to see much. So it was not the most comfortable conditions.
Yeah.
Did we have what we wanted? we've had what was necessary.
Right.
We had ideas for more that we couldn't have. One day out in the sea costs a lot. 4 boats, a crew of about 30.
4 boats.
Yeah, 4 boats. One is the sales boat that is used in the film. Another one is the inflatable boat where we had the monitor. Another one is a motor boat where we had the rest of the crew, and another one was going on and off to bring people back. And etc. So yeah, it was quite something. So yeah, no, not the easiest conditions, but what quite fun. And just I'm gonna learn you. I'm gonna teach you something about. It's a trick when shooting at sea. It looks like we're in the middle of the ocean, but the good thing is, whenever you're in the water, if you're facing the horizon, the horizon, you can be off the coast like 10 meters. You won't realize it. So that was the good thing.
Right, I figured that. So that's what's interesting about this, I think, or many things are interesting, but one of the really interesting things is, we used to like sit around at desks and invent things and upload them to a web server, and there was our website. In this case, you guys went from being underwater, off the south coast of France, to much, much, much later on, uploading something to the website, eventually being in some dry area in the 10th arrondissement in Paris or something, right?
Right.
It's a huge contrast, I think. And if you think about, I think, 5 years ago maybe people were doing that, but it was like a director, and then they were 10 years ago and they were uploading it to Flash or something. It was never all the same group of people, and now it's really, like you guys are out there in the water and you're doing all the stuff and you're back in Paris.
Yep.
So what was it like? So my question, I guess, was, I think that's just really fascinating, but also, what was it like to be all the way out there doing that, and then at some point you launch it and I would imagine you're like in Google Analytics trying to see like if people are checking it out, right? That you're all the way at the last stop. You're like literally looking like at page views at some point, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, what you just said is really how we, especially maybe me, have lived the whole process until, as you just mentioned, the very last end, when you go live. Actually, the agency has hands on the PR to get things started, but there was no media at all, no media support at all.
Right.
And to be honest with you, this feeling that I'm going to tell you about, I have it pretty much with all projects, but it was so much true with this one. When you've been working a lot for a long time on the project and you finally launch it, for me, it's real hard to get an opinion about it. I really had no idea if it was good, if it was just average, if it was amazing. I really couldn't say. And I had no idea how people would welcome it.
Yeah.
And obviously, Google Analytics was there to tell me right away that people liked it. More than Google Analytics, actually, what was really surprising and what was a thrill was Twitter. The hashtag Sortie en mer all of a sudden started to pump up like hell, with 100% of enthusiastic tweets of people really, and this was really when we realized we nailed it on this one, at least. People really tweeting how terrifying the experience had been for them, how realistic it was, how immersive it was, how they got the point of, yes, wearing a life jacket next time they will go out at sea. Yeah. And this was from day one, and it was a big, a big thrill.
And what kind? I mean, give us a sense of the traffic that you guys saw in the first week or so, just to give us a general idea, just so people understand how popular it was. It's pretty amazing.
Again, no media, only PR. First million users in 48 hours.
Wow, I mean, that's incredible.
It was crazy. It was completely crazy. I think second million came within the following day, 72 hours, and then it went up. And of course, after some time, of course, things start to slow down. But now today, I think we are close to 7 million users from 220 countries, something like this. It's been completely universal.
I mean, what's also amazing, in addition just to numbers, but it's actually that 2 million people saw it and interacted with it, which is great. But you also, in the first few days, told 2 million people to put on the life vest, which is pretty, right? Which is probably, maybe the most amount of people that have ever been told to put on a life vest at one, in such a short period of time, or something.
I mean,
not to lose the actual message here, which is
exactly
a powerful thing.
Exactly. No, that was it was hard to believe for ourselves. And again, I mean, I'm really happy to talk about it. I could talk about it for hours, but this is not only Grouek. This is CLMB Video, of course. This is Wenda Digital, Ben Hartman, and ourselves. But altogether, yeah, it really worked out.
Yeah. So tell me another question. What is, I sort of talked about it for a second there, but how much easier is it? Do you feel like we've gotten to a place with the technology that's available on the web? I mean, because this is all, what I think is amazing is that this whole experience is all HTML5. It's all directly accessible through a browser. You don't need to like download this or download that, or it's you type in the URL straight away. You're there. You're in the thing. How has the simplicity that it feels like from the user perspective, has that translated to the work that you guys do? Is the technology making it easier to get these experiences up and accessible to people, or how do you see that sort of in the last few years?
To be honest with you,
same.
To be honest with you, I would say that it would probably have been easier a few years ago when we were all using Flash.
Right.
So, of course, no technology, no sortie en mer. That's
right.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Now, making it smooth and simple and working well on not all but most browsers, Internet Explorer 8 is not very friendly with experience, but making it compatible with tablets. You can actually not scroll but swipe the screen like hell until the tip of your fingers start burning. It does actually work as well. So yeah, it was a big challenge. It was a big challenge, and actually it's a challenge that we here at Grouek imposed on ourselves, because at first we thought it would probably be more comfortable and easier or less hard, less difficult to make it with Flash, and the agency had no problem with that. They said, we don't really want to focus so much on technology, but we want the experience to really exist. And we insisted with ourselves, we challenged ourselves to make it in H5, especially to have a mobile version of it, at least a tablet version of it, and we did, but it was not simple. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, but so the proliferation of devices makes it more challenging, but you probably wouldn't have gotten to the 7 million people if you had not been done this way, right? Certainly I would imagine that mobile viewership is an important part of people watching.
Actually, in the end, so it is not. It doesn't work on smartphones. It wouldn't make sense. Actually, you wouldn't see much. So it works on tablets. It is, I think, something between 10 to 15% of the audience. So it is significant, but it's not that much.
Right.
No, but it was also a very good learning experience for us.
Yeah.
And so yes, we learned a lot on the way, obviously.
Right. That's great. I think it's a really fascinating project. I had one last question for you, which was, did anybody make it to 8 minutes and 47 seconds or whatever it is? 8 minutes, 30 seconds?
Some people actually made more. The way they did, we figured out, we were surprised, but some people on the analytics had like 12 minutes. And I thought, there's something wrong here. Either Google Analytics are wrong, or some people are doing stuff. No, actually, some people did all the way 8 minutes and something. And if you leave the tab that you're on and you go and do something else and then get back, then the runner, on the stats, ongoing experience post. But so yes, some people did, but no one made it. No one made it. Through. Everyone died. Everyone died. Over 7 million people.
It's a great project. We're really excited. Congratulations on the Lovie this year. Well deserved. It was good to see you guys at the event.
Thank you so much.
We're looking forward to seeing what you guys are working on coming up this year. But thank you, Homen, for joining us. It's been really great chatting, and we'll talk soon. What's your Twitter if people want to follow you?
At
Follow
Grouek, Grouek, at Grouek.
Okay.
Grouek.
Okay. All right.
Thank you
Romain,
so much.
congratulations. Follow Romain and Grouek at Grouek. And of course, Lovie Awards at LOVIEAWAR. Oh, sorry, at THELOVIEAWARDS. Thank you so much. I'm looking
Merci
forward to
beaucoup.
chatting again sometime
Merci.
soon.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.